So I'm sure you're busy here. Tell me what some of the issues you're seeing over the past couple of days.
Well, anytime we have inclement weather, the below freezing is worse than hot. You have all your rubber components, all your liquids, your fluids are subject to all kinds of transformations because of the cold weather. Steering gets tight because the fluids are thick, so people tend to kind of have to force it a little bit. When you do that, you can damage steering components. Fluid doesn't move as fast through the system because it's cold and it's slow, kind of like we are when it's cold. So you have to, let your car warm up a little bit before you take off. But most people don't do that, so they damage things. You can rupture hoses, crack radiators, split belts. Your tire's 14 degrees, it's sitting outside the concrete. You take off down the road to hit a pothole or bump a curb. Now you split a tire that you're unaware of. You'll usually find that out when you're going 60 and it blows up. So there's all kinds of things that happen when your car is set outside in this kind of weather. Now, if it's set indoors in a garage where the temperature was 55, 60 degrees or whatever, no problem at all, nothing at all. You just be careful there when you're out on the road. Just be careful how you're driving. Don't drive too fast. But cars that sit outside are subject to all kinds of issues. The best thing you could do is take your car to a mechanic if you have one and just let them give it a good thorough check it over. We have several cars that came in first thing this morning to be checked over, and they've got antifreeze leaks. One's got a split tire. One's got a bent rim from bumping into a curb in the ice. One of them's got a split belt. So there's lots of things that have happened. Like these cars sat for 2 or 3 days at 12, 13, 14, 15 degrees, and things happen. Things happen. So it's just very important to get your car checked out by a certified mechanic as soon as you can once things start to thaw out.
How much busier would you say you are than like a normal day?
Twice as busy, probably. And it started last week with people anticipating this weather, bringing their cars to get them checked out before the temperature dropped. We weren't able to get all those done. There were just too many of them. And we've had probably 8 or 10 show up this morning anticipating a thaw. Several came in on the record that wouldn't even start. That sat over the weekend, so or sat for a couple of days during that weather. So we're getting a little bit behind. Everybody in town is probably going to be behind for a couple of weeks to get caught up after this. Temperatures start to thaw, and you're going to get in your car and drive. The one thing you want to make sure of is that, one, your wipers aren't frozen to the windshield. Make sure they're loose. Make sure you don't have any clumps of ice on the wheel or a tire that could cause it to be out of balance. Make sure before you grab your door handle and jerk your door open that your weather stripping is not frozen to your car. You'll jerk the weather strip off the car, or you'll break the handle. There's several things you want to check, but one of the ways you can get that ice off, use some just tap water, cool tap water, to pour on those icy areas, and it'll melt that ice away. Or you can use a chemical, an aerosol chemical you can buy at the auto parts store. You spray it on the ice, and it'll chemically melt the ice away and don't hurt anything. Spray it in your door locks, spray it around the edge of your doors, on your windshield, on your wipers. Make sure you get all those chunks of ice off before you take off, drive down the street. One big thing too about this, you can think if you got a big chunk of ice on your hood and you're driving down the road at 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, you think everything's hunky-dory. All of a sudden that ice, because of the engine heat, lets go of the hood and slams against your windshield, and you become the glass man for that too. So if there's big chunks of ice on your hood, get it off before you drive, because that will end up in your face eventually. Important things to remember. The first thing people want to do is, I got ice on my car, I want to get it off. Aha, hot water. Fantastic idea. Bad idea. Hot water on a windshield, it'll put it in about 6 different pieces, and you'll be calling Auto Glass Express on 5th Street. That your next phone call will be, when can you put a windshield in my car? Don't pour hot water on a frozen car, whatever you do. Tap water, cool tap water is all you need. Hot water, bad idea.
If you leave like ice and some of the crap on the side of your car, can it damage paint after a while?
It won't stay on there long enough. Once it thaws to a point where it starts to melt, it won't hurt it. Okay. What can hurt the paint the most is using some kind of a scraper trying to scrape it off. That's where people damage the paint. If they just let it sit there on the paint, just thaw out, it'll fall off. You want to get ice off anything that could affect your driving. The hood, the windshield, the wipers, the door handles, the door locks.